Hi, in this video I'll be sharing some thoughts on whether you should expose the narcissist. Hi, welcome to Feeling is Healing, where we support people who have previously felt powerless in relationships to develop self-trust in order to live happier, healthier, more fulfilling lives. So I thought this question was actually interesting about whether you should expose a narcissist, because from the actual question, it actually implies that the person who you are looking to expose the narcissist to is already somebody who thinks that this narcissist person is fantastic, or at least okay. Because if this person, let's call them, if this person that you want to expose the narcissist to was on your side, was your ally, and was interested in how you were and your point of view, then there would not really be anything to expose. It would just be a typical conversation. But the fact that you're needing to ask this question of whether you should expose someone, it is implied within the question that there is some sort of possible negative consequence from making this exposure, and there's some kind of anxiety or uncertainty about it. So one thing I would say at the beginning is most likely normally doesn't go down too well if you try and call someone a narcissist, because the immediate pushback you could get would be that you're not qualified to diagnose people. So it's normally more effective to explain and state specific facts of specific things that have happened, and when you're doing that, it's extremely useful if you actually have some evidence. But even if you do have the evidence, I would put out I don't know if the warning is the right word, that some people don't want to see the truth, and I've mentioned perhaps in other videos why they don't want to see the truth. And you'd be astounded really at the lack of logic, or the extent to which people would rather have their head in the sand and be in denial. And why would they not want to know the truth? Well, if you're in a dynamic, and it's likely that this is someone that, if you're trying to expose one person to another person, that you're all in some kind of dynamic together, then it's likely the other person's got a role. Well, they have got a role in that dynamic if they're in it. And if you're then exposing something that then they've not been aware of, firstly, it'll be a shock to them. Secondly, it forces them to reevaluate their reality, and it forces them to look at their part that they're playing, and perhaps they're going to have to reevaluate a lot of things. And, you know, we're in this, sort of blame it on the culture, but, you know, we're in a culture where we expect quick rewards. So whereas in the days before, you know, all this instant messaging, we built relationships over time. And when you're with a person, when you're in person-to-person contact with someone, over time you get a release of oxytocin, which is bonding hormone, and you build up a relationship, and you have like a steady level of that. Whereas nowadays we have this quick fix, instant, bang, bang, bang. And when you get, say for example, if you're getting a WhatsApp message or a notification on Facebook, then you get a quick blast of dopamine. But dopamine is short-lived, so then you need another one and another one. And so I feel like I'm going off the point here, but the point is that people expect a quick fix, and they just want comfort, and they want pleasure. And if anything's a bit difficult, we've kind of not a lot of people are taking not a lot of people have been taking doing the hard work. But the good news is really that a lot more people now are awakening and realising that this way of carrying on is not sustainable, and it's not having a good effect on society. So the good news is that if you're working through taking responsibility for yourself and for your reactions and for the quality of your relationships. And if you're standing up and having self-respect and saying that you want better relationships, you're having a positive influence on yourself, and that radiates out to the world. And so you're doing a really good job. So I wanted to give that point of hope. So back to the question of whether to expose someone, the real point here is that a lot of people will say this, that getting through narcissistic abuse, going through this horrible torment, you've been met now with this choice. Am I going to stay in these old patterns, or is it time to up level? Is it time to have better relationships? Is it time to raise our standards? And is it time to stand up and say no? And if you're standing up and saying no, well, congratulations, because this is a change that is needed on an individual level and also on a collective level. And the point really here is that the universe is going to align with you, because universe is all about up-leveling and graduating and going through these are soul's lessons. So you're presented with this challenge, which this abusive relationship has been, and you're now being given a choice to step up. And when you do that, the universe it celebrates and it's very happy, and you will be things will start to align. You'll start to receive these synchronicities, and life will start to make sense. And so it really doesn't matter that much about exposing someone or not exposing someone when you realise that higher purpose of this all is to step into your truth. And the other thing to realise is it feels like the narcissistic person is very powerful and that they have all the power, and you're at their mercy. When you start doing the inner work, then what happens is that you see how pathetic, cowardly, lazy they are, and also they can't control their impulses. They need this narcissistic supply from others in order to survive. When they don't get it, they'll start flipping out and panicking, and then they'll do stupid things and they'll expose themselves. And it's, like I was saying, it's the law of the universe. They'll just slip up. They'll overplay their hand. You won't have had to do that. You've been focusing on building yourself up, and they will go away themselves. You don't need to actually worry too much about that. And what I did for a long time was I had this energy of wanting to drag these people. It was like I wanted to drag them along with me, saying, come on, come with me, you need to be this better way and everything will be better. And it came from a place of knowing that there was a better way for them. I wasn't doing it, I didn't have that intention for a bad reason, but actually it doesn't work because they have their own free will, they have their own journey, they have their own lessons they need to learn. But the way they're more likely to come along with you is if you inspire them and show them how much better things are for you when you're no longer being dragged down you're no longer having your energy sucked away by abusive, selfish, exploitative, entitled people. So generally that is the focus. I would be interested to know whether you have any experiences of exposing someone. And when I say exposing, like I said at the beginning of the video, there's really this implication that you're changing someone's mind about someone, because if someone was open to opinions, there wouldn't really be anything to expose. It would just be a general kind of conversation and interaction. So I hope you found that useful. I think that's all I had to say for today, unless if I've forgotten anything, I'll just write it below. If you found the video useful, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe for future videos, and I will speak to you soon.